Welcome back in, everyone, to Media Day here at the 2024 ITA Division I Men's Team Indoor Championships. We are joined now by a head coach whose team won this event back in 2020. Of course, you all know him as USC men's tennis head coach Brett Masi. Coach, welcome to Media Day. Before we get into anything else, I got to ask, coming back to an event where, of course, your first season you had such a success, it's always got to bring back special memories, right?
Yeah, it's amazing that that's almost 5 years ago now, that we've done that, and that team and what they accomplished in that week, is something was super special. And honestly, one of the, finest moments I've had as a coach. Barring everything that happened after that, it was, that was one of a kind moment right there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I will always remember it for a couple of reasons. First of all, Brandon Holt gave me COVID, as we all know. That was the starting point. He spread it across the world. But yeah, from a doubles point in 5 first sets down, you beat the Wolverines in the semis. That one will always stick with me. The championship match, they were down, 5-4 in the breaker with 2 Blumberg serves, and then they come back 7-6. My memory still works, by the way, Coach, in case you were curious. Yes, that one burnt with me forever. It's also our 5-year anniversary, I guess. That was my first national indoors. But I'm curious more broadly as we look at this 2024 team. And across the college tennis landscape, you could say this, but there have been some ups and downs for the Trojans already. I know you're not at your healthiest right now, but I'm curious how you guys are feeling as you approach this weekend.
Yeah, look, it's never easy, not being able to play at your full strength. But, the guys have learned a valuable lesson, I think, over the last week with our few matches that we just played indoors on the road. And they see what opportunities we have lying ahead. And they're excited for, what's next. And they now, as a coach, the biggest thing is how do you learn and how do you progress? And that's what we're aiming for this week.
Yeah, I'm curious with the 2 freshmen that you brought in, obviously Oscar and Vlad. Ike Banco is just how I'm going to think of it right now. I'm not going to get all the names right. We're still working as
Volvo,
well.
Just say
yeah,
Volvo.
Volvo, perfect. I didn't know if I had earned that with him yet, if we were there yet. But how have they acclimated? Obviously, they're going to be asked to contribute quickly, given some of the injuries. How have you thought they've done so far?
Yeah, I mean, look, Volvo has done an awesome job. If you looked at our first 4 matches, I think he clinched 3 of them. The deciding one actually over USD to come here. So, he got thrown into the fire right away, and he did an awesome job. Regarding Oscar, he's, been battling a few things, and now we're hopefully on the uptick with him. And, he's been coming in and playing doubles for us. And I think this week, hopefully, you see some great things from him.
Yeah, looking forward to it. What did you learn? You brought up that San Diego match. Talk about a thriller. Yeah. And I'm just curious because there was definitely a moment in that match where I imagine it went through your head, oh my God, we might lose to San Diego here at home. What did it say about your group, particularly so early in the season? Steph hadn't been around the fall. It's his first weekend of play, all these different factors. What did you learn about your team that weekend?
I mean, first and foremost, going into that match, I already thought that was going to be a match. It was going to be a tough one. Like that USD team with Coach Keckley, they do an awesome job, and I knew it was going to be a barn burner. Being on our home courts definitely, paved the way and gave us a good uptick, and also just the fact that winning that doubles point was super crucial. Across the board, I just think that our depth, prevailed, and the guys did an awesome job at a few positions. Winning at 2 and 3, and getting that lead a little bit definitely helped. And then, battling back from, I would say, losing those first sets at 5 and 6, and the guys staying out there and competing. Carl didn't end up winning that match, but he was down, I think, 5-1 in the third, and he got it back to 5-4 or pretty close. And that gave Vova the opportunity to not feel the pressure of, maybe he goes down 6-1, then all of a sudden the pressure puts it on him right away, and he doesn't come through with that. I think that really set a tone for him. And just the energy that we had as a group and the guys coming together there, I think that was kind of the sign to me of we've got a great team that fights really hard and, really wanted to, come in on the winning end on that.
Yeah, I also feel, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but for that group, particularly as young as they are, to get a win without Steph, a recipe that, with all due respect, over the last 2 years, most wins for USC involves Steph's a point on the board and we'll find the other 3. How helpful is that for you? And even more broadly, to not have him here this weekend, to force everyone up a spot in the lineup and everyone gets that extra opportunity. Is that quietly a blessing for you come May?
Yeah, I mean, look, every team, barring a few, obviously that are out there, it's always your depth is everything, right? Yeah. And you want to be able to keep that depth throughout the season. If you lose somebody, you're hoping maybe it's towards the bottom end of your lineup and not at the top end of your lineup. So losing a guy like Steph, look, I haven't coached a match without Steph in 5 years. This is my 5th year at USC. He's been, the blood force and the trigger to our entire program for a number of years, a staple. And we had a frank discussion about what was important. Was it having him here or having him towards the middle to the end of the season? And we made a decision that he needed to go take care of what he needed to do, and he's doing that now and rehabbing. And look, we're going to be able to have him towards the meat part of our season when we're outdoors, when we're at home, when we have a lot of great matches on our schedule, and it'll be important to have him at that moment. So right now, what these guys are learning is they're getting some exposure to playing some great talent. And the way I see it is at the end of the year, they're going to have played really high-end matches. And when we add Steph back in, that experience is going to pay off.
Yeah. In that vein, what'd you learn from the Texas road trip? I know the results may not have been. Yeah, we were going to get there eventually. You knew it had to come. What'd you learn about that team? And dare I say, is there a chip on their shoulder now coming off of that directly from there to here?
I think we'll see tomorrow what we learned more than anything, Alex. I think, the match against Oklahoma State, we had some chances there and, some opportunities slipped away. Going to Baylor, it was a punch in the face, definitely. And I think we learned from that punch in the face. Guys have come out. They had a really great practice today. And look, tomorrow's Tennessee is going to be an awesome match. And I think we'll see right then and there what these guys are made of and how we respond when we've had a little bit of adversity. So I'm excited to see what we got.
I'm glad you bring up Tennessee. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it you or George who was the assistant in those national championship matches?
I was gone already. George was the assistant against that one.
So he was riding your coattails, is what you're telling me.
No.
Yeah, no. George Husak, now Alabama head coach, former USC assistant. But the point I bring up is USC-Tennessee matches, to those who know the college tennis history, they have mattered historically. And I'm curious what it means for you to get to face that opponent here, what you're hoping to see from your guys tomorrow.
I mean, look, I've always been a Trojan since I left in 2009 after winning that title, and I followed every one of those national championships that Peter won, prevailing it. And, I was there that day when USC beat Tennessee, and you could see just, the rivalry in a sense, like being at that moment. On that day, D Win clinching the match over Tennis Sandgren and, so on and so forth, the guys that helped get to that, that final point. And look, all these matches are super, competitive. Everybody here, like you said, there's been ups and downs across the board throughout college tennis this season. So at any given day, you never know what you're going to get from each team and vice versa. So I think we're super excited about it and getting to play a team like Tennessee, and I'm sure they are as well.
Yeah, well, I know I speak for College Tennis Universe when I say we are all excited to see it. I know I will also say personally, and longtime Cracked Racquets listeners will know you are a returning champion to our show. It's good to get to do this in person, my friend. Always a pleasure to get to see you, Coach Brett Masi.
Are we going to get any Chris Halioris in here?
It's a great question, 50-50. He says we're on standby, so hopefully we will see him, but we're better off without him. Let's be
give him my best.
Yes, of course, and fight on as always.
Fight on, boys.